Well, hi friends. Today I will be continuing my discussion on dividend discount models. I would be covering first the multiple period dividend discount model. So let's get started. Well, let's assume that now you're not just holding the security for a single year. Let's assume that now you're holding the security for n number of years. So what do you expect out of the security? As usual, you expect the dividends as well as the capital appreciation. So I'll write it for you. Well, in the first year, you expect a dividend of D1. In second year, you expect a dividend of D2. In third year, D3, and so on till Dn, where I'm also expecting some capital appreciation. So I'm expecting the price to move from P naught to Pn. So I need to discount each and every single dividends back to present. This is what a multiple period dividend discount model is. Let's discount D1 back to present. Let's discount this D2 as well as every single dividend till my Dn, which is my final year dividend, plus my price appreciation, which is the terminal stock value after n number of years. I'm expecting the price appreciation of Pn minus P naught. So this is what a multiple period dividend discount model tells you. The only difference from the single period dividend discount model is the n number of dividends. We need to discount n times, so there might be uh, 1 plus r raised to the power square, 1 plus r raised to the power cube, and then going forward it would be 1 plus r raised to the power n. So that's it. This is the single period dividend discount model expansion to a multiple period dividend discount model. Now I would be covering up the Gordon growth model. So I'll just pull a next slide. Yep. Well, Gordon growth models are particularly used for a mature growth firm. So if the company has already passed through the initial phases and now is in the mature industry or itself a mature firm which is growing at a constant growth rate of G, there the Gordon growth model can be applied. It's exactly similar to the multiple period dividend discount model. We are expecting the dividends to grow at a certain constant growth rate, which is assumed to be G. Yep. So the first year's dividend will determine my next year dividend. Sorry. Yep. 1 plus G. And my next year dividend would determine the next to next year's dividend. So this is how a multiple period Gordon growth model works. Now, another addition to the Gordon growth model is that we are assuming that this time we are holding the security till infinity. So, the Gordon growth model determines the intrinsic value as the present value of the growing perpetuity, which is growing at a constant growth rate of G. So, I'll just write the formula for you. Yeah, value of my equity is my initial dividend. Sorry. Yep, 1 plus G, discounting it back to present, plus D naught into 1 plus G, discounting it back to present, and so on. So if I pull out the D naught, I am left with 1 plus G, 1 plus R, plus 1 plus G square, 1 plus R square, and so on. So if you look at this, this is nothing but a infinite geometric series growing at a constant growth rate of G. This infinite geometric series sums to 1 plus G divided by R minus G. So the total value of my equity is my initial dividend, which is D naught, and the infinite geometric series summing to 1 plus G divided by R minus G. So this is what a Gordon growth model tells you. Your value of equity is initial dividend growing at a constant growth rate of G and then dividing R minus G. Now, one thing which we need to make sure is that this particular model assumes that your R is greater than G. So the constant growth rate, which might be the mature firm growth rate, or the which is equivalent to in many cases the economy's growth rate, is less than the your required rate of return on the stock. This one assumption needs to be made before we complete this lesson. And from next lesson, I would be explaining you the different kind of valuation models, which is multiplier models as well as the asset based valuation models. So watch out for the next video. Thanks for